What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video here on the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be giving you guys all of the mechanical keyboard accessories that I think would be useful for someone kind of getting into the hobby. As well as that, I'm going to be unboxing a pretty big package from the people over at Kinetic Labs with some extra keyboard accessories that I think you guys are really going to be interested in. But before we get too far into the video, if you guys haven't already gone ahead and liked the video and also subscribed to the channel, I would greatly appreciate it if you could do so. I also do cover lots of keyboard and just tech related stuff over on my TikTok, so if you guys want to go follow me over there, there will be a link in the description. And yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and just jump into today's video. Alright, so before we get into the unboxing, I do want to briefly go over a lot of the basic stuff, kind of like the necessities that I think you guys are going to need if you guys are just a beginner. So with that being said, PCs are becoming really popular, as you guys probably already know. And with that, keyboards are becoming extremely popular, and just like gaming peripherals in general. And a lot of people, especially over on TikTok, are getting into keyboards, are getting into switches, are getting into keycaps, you know, pretty much anything that has to do with keyboards. And in this video in specific, we're really going to focus on a lot of just the basic stuff that can save you a ton of time when you're modding your keyboard and you're changing your keycaps or looping your switches or pretty much just anything like that. Because if you guys have done any keyboard modifications or you guys have done anything even related to keyboards, you guys would know that some of it can be extremely time consuming. So I'm going to knock off a lot of the basic stuff right away that really saves me a lot of time. So the first thing we're going to talk about is a wired keycap puller. Now the reason I'm talking about this is because a lot of the times with keycaps, you guys get the basic keycap puller that does potentially scrape the side of your keycaps. As well as that, with the ones you usually get with keycap sets, you can only take out one keycap at a time, and for me it's just way too slow in my opinion. With a wired keycap puller, you guys can take out 2 to 3 to even 4 keycaps at a time. As well as that, if you guys end up picking a set of GMK keycaps or an expensive set, you guys really don't want to be scratching the side of your keycaps. You guys don't even really want the possibility, as GMK keycaps can go from $70 to $80 to even $90. As well as that, you guys are going to 100% want a switch puller as well, and you guys are never going to want to use the switch puller that comes with a hot swap keyboard. I will show you guys on screen, but usually with a hot swap keyboard, you guys are going to get that little metal switch puller, and it does tend to bend right when you start pulling switches out. So what you guys can get, and this is a little bit early because I did unbox this later on in the video, but I picked up this switch puller from Kinetic Labs. It was only about $6, and it really saves you so much time, and it has a lot more pulling power, if that makes any sense. It just has a lot more strength to it. It doesn't bend at all. Highly recommend picking one of those up. And on that note, on Amazon, I see a lot of people pick up that double wired keycap puller and switch puller. Do not pick it up. I bought it myself, and I can tell you guys that it's one of the worst purchases I ever made. As you guys can see, it's bent already pretty bad, and it's just not good. Highly do not recommend. So let's go ahead and talk about a couple more really simple things that I think could help you guys out. This is going to be a brush and an air can. Very simple. I just have this little brush that I actually was supposed to use for my camera lens. I like it because it's a really gentle brush, and I use it pretty frequently, so I don't have to take the keycaps off and rip my keyboard apart every time I want to clean it. I like to keep up with it, use the air can every now and then on all my keyboards just to keep them clean. Next up, we have a switch opener. Now you can grab these on Amazon. I think I picked mine up from AliExpress because it was cheaper, but the shipping obviously on AliExpress or a website like Banggood is going to take a lot longer. But these are probably one of the best time savers in my opinion. I remember when I first got my optical blue switches, or actually I think they were optical clear switches, I ended up lubing all of them as the clears are a linear switch, and I didn't have a switch opener, so I was using a flathead screwdriver to pull apart and take apart each switch individually. And I'm telling you guys, it's the best time saver in the world. This is definitely a necessity when it comes to mechanical keyboards. As well as that, a lube station can be super useful as well. I actually have one coming in the mail right now, so I can't really show you guys on hand. A lube station basically lets you take apart your entire switch, and then you can take each individual piece of the switch, and you can toss the stem in there. You can toss the housing, you toss the spring as well, and it just lets you lube everything without having to pick each piece up individually. Another thing that can be super important when you're lubricating linear switches or really any other switch in general is ergonomic brushes. Now you can pick up ergonomic ones from Kinetic Labs, but I just picked mine up from my local craft store, and the best thing about these is that they have a little indent, or I don't know, I'll show you guys on screen. It's kind of hard to explain, but they have a spot to hold for your fingers, and it's literally so much more comfortable, and it can prevent hand cramps clamping or anything from like lubricating switches. If you guys have ever done it, you guys know that lubricating switches can be like one of the longest things and the most time consuming things ever. So let's go ahead and get into the Kinetic Labs unboxing. I'm going to show you guys a lot of cool stuff to mod your keyboard. As well as that, we have a couple aesthetic items as well that I think you guys are really going to be interested in. The first thing we're going to talk about, and this is actually my favorite thing that I did pick up, we're actually going to be talking about these switch containers. Yes, you guys could probably pick up any container from the store to store your switches, but here I actually picked up 3 for $15 off of Kinetic Labs, and I will have a link in the description if you guys do want to check them out. You're getting 3 storage containers, each holding about 150 switches each. And as you guys can see on screen, these things are pretty aesthetic. They've got really nice like tops that kind of clamp and kind of keep dust out of your switches and everything like that. And it just looks super cool, and their minimal branding on the top also looks really nice as well in my opinion. Individually, they're about $6.50 each, so you guys are definitely saving a little money when you're buying 3. Getting into something else that I did pick up, I actually did get a lubrication palette. As well as that, I got some Krytox 205 grade 0 in there as well. This bundle came in at about $30, so a bit more than like your regular, I guess, lubrication, but it does come with a palette. As well as that, the lubrication does come in a syringe, which is so clutch in my opinion, and so much better than just getting like the little tub of lubrication. With the syringe, you guys can lube stabs a lot easier, and with this syringe as well, you guys don't have to like mess around with anything, and you guys can kind of just squeeze it onto that lube palette as well, and it just makes the whole process so much easier. As well as that, they did add little rubber feet that you guys can stick to the bottom of the lubrication palette. I thought that was a really nice touch because you guys can kind of put it on your table. You don't have to worry about it sliding around or anything. Obviously, Krytox is used for linear switches, but I do know they offer like Tribosis for tactile switches and other lubrications as well. Getting into the next item, we have a stem holder. Now this is something that I just picked up as well, and I did not realize that this was so essential. One of the main things when it comes to lubing a switch in general is lubing both sides of that stem, and for me it was really hard trying to lube the stem while holding it with like both my fingers and not getting lube on my fingers and like not getting it everywhere. It was honestly just a mess. But with the stem holder, you kind of just open it up and then you just grab that top of the stem, and it makes it super easy to lube both sides, lube the legs if you have a different type of switch. Honestly, this is another crazy time saver, and I would just highly recommend picking it up as it's about only $6 on the website. As well as that, as I showed you guys before, I also unboxed a switch puller from Kinetic Labs. Doesn't bend. It's a lot better quality than your regular one that you're going to get with a hot swap keyboard. Along with that, I did pick up some switch films as well. Now this is my first time picking up switch films, so I don't necessarily know a whole ton about these. If you guys aren't super familiar, switch films are basically what you put between like the top and the bottom housing of a switch, and it's supposed to help with like the wobble and the sound a little bit of your switch. For me, I tried it on a couple Gateron yellows and I didn't notice a ton of a difference, but I think it's definitely there. Again, I didn't mind picking these up either because it was about $6 for like 120 of them. So for me, it really kind of was a no-brainer. Now they do have a couple things on the website that I did want to go over that I didn't end up picking up, and one of them is actually a keycap box. Now for me, I just toss all my keycaps in like random Ziploc bags. For me, that's just the easiest way. But I guess if you guys want to like display your keycaps, or you guys want just a nicer looking option, they do offer them on the website, and I know they do have like interchangeable like sections in it as well. If you guys want to like separate, you know, some of your modifier keycaps from some of your other keycaps, I think it's a great idea, and it's actually not too expensive either. Highly recommend just going over there, checking out what they have. Now I will leave a link in the description to pretty much everything I did cover in this video. If you guys have any questions about anything in this video, where to get it, kind of anything like that, make sure to go ahead and leave it in the comment section down below. And with that being said, I will catch you guys in the next video on the channel. Thank you for watching. Peace.